So we really started talking about, how do we take this functional medicine movement, how do we take it from the fringe and take it to the mainstream? Because does everybody understand we're dealing with maybe, what, 1% of the population if we're lucky, And how do we take this and not make it alternative? How do we actually take it and just make it the way that you actually deal with your health? And for me, I'm a business guy, so I look at, obviously the health impact, but I also look at the business and financial impact. It's one of the largest expenses in our entire country every year. We spend almost $1 trillion a year on healthcare. It's insane. And we have very, very low-ranked healthcare. And we don't have healthcare. We have disease management.
I think we'll find it's $3 trillion.
Is it $3 trillion?
$3 trillion. $1 trillion is just the waste.
Okay, you loaned them. You loaned them the other $2 trillion. When it starting with the T, it's a big number. So really, how do we take this from that and bring it into the mainstream? And so we really started talking, and for some of you, and actually we've got several clients here in the audience. We've figured out a very proven business model to help people get up and running in an integrative or functional type practice and become profitable. Because like you mentioned, the clinical training's out there, and what we find is most practitioners that come to us, they have the clinical training, they just don't have the business system to actually implement it. And if they don't, or if it's kind of implemented, it's so dependent on them that they own a job, not a business. And then they do become drained, and then they don't become healthy, and then they don't have balance. And so how do we create that? So we've done a pretty good job of doing that, and we do it in a very kind of an intimate way. We do a lot of hands-on coaching, a lot of interaction, one-on-one coaching, and so on. But as a result, that program is not cheap. We've talked about this, and we've sent a lot of people down, and we sign up a lot of clients every month, and it's a very profitable business, and we're helping a lot of people. And but it's $2,700 a month for coaching, and so. While it's a great investment and our clients do very well, we realized at the pace we're going and the amount of clients we're bringing in, we're not moving the needle like we should. I mean, even if we're bringing in 100 new clients a month, it's not going to make a substantial impact in terms of our overall mission. If our mission, and this is where James and I's relationship has really blossomed, is, he asked me one time, he said, what do you want? And I said, I want to disrupt healthcare, like truly disrupt it. I don't want to change it. I want to disrupt it. I want to see them crumble. And I have no issue saying that. I read a report just the other day that a couple of the major pharmaceutical companies had to do a major layoff. And I want to see that thing.
McDonald's, Monsanto, and the pharma companies all together.
That's right. So I want to see them crumble. So how do we do that? And so what we started talking about was, I understand that there's core business principles and strategies that every business has to have. There's just certain things that you have to have in business that are not crazy complicated, but they're not taught to you in school, and they're not taught out there. Until you know that, you're just kind of flying by the seat of your pants. And just basic strategies, whether that's with hiring staff, how to hire the proper staff, how to train them, how to pay them, how to bonus them, how to incentivize them, understanding your financials. I'm going to say that's like the cuss word around doctors, right? But understanding your cost of goods, understanding your return on investment, understanding your clinic's capacity, understanding these things is key. Understanding basics of marketing and packaging and pricing and customer experience. These are core business things. So we said, why don't we put something together? Why don't we collaborate and put something together that is as close to free as we can possibly do it and provide it. And so that's kind of what we've done. We've created, we have Freedom Practice Coaching. We have the Elite Coaching Program. For some of you, that is what you need. And if you need to step up to that, we're here to help you. But we wanted to make it so that every person out there could have access to this core business training. And so we've created Freedom Practice University. And we're going to be doing a webinar here, and I'll let you kind of talk about that. But this is really, and I'll tell you very, very clearly, I would love to be able to do this program for free if we could. There is a cost in it. I've got it as close to free as we possibly can. And the whole concept is, this is about spreading the mission. And I'll be very candid with you. I know a lot of people that come in, will do it, get successful, start making money, and want to upgrade to our full-blown coaching program, which is great. That's a much more profitable business than what this is going to be. This is about the mission. This is about how do we spread this and how do we truly disrupt the space.
Matt, let me ask you this. Like, we talked a lot about patients needing coaches. What do you see as the difference when a doctor has a coach? Because you're a super coach, but for doctors and practitioners, not for patients.
It's the same thing. I mean, you can't see the forest through the trees. And you also don't have the skills, and that's not a knock, because you've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars and thousands of hours learning your clinical training. I don't pretend to know near as much clinically as you guys, but I've spent the same amount of time and a lot more money learning the business education, and I've already hit the low-lying limbs. I have hundreds of clinics that I've worked with. We tested everything. I know what works. I know what doesn't work out there. So part of it is I've hit the low-lying limbs, but having somebody that can guide you along the way and give you a step-by-step process to figure out the business system, because what I find is we're all tend to be good at things we like, and we're not good at things we don't like, right? So most people don't really like the business side of things because they're not really that good at it, and that's not what they went to school for. That's not what they studied. That's not what their passion is. That's not where their heart is. Their heart is serving people. But what you have to understand is if we can't serve people effectively and provide for our families, then we're not going to serve anybody. And when you're stressed out financially, it affects everybody. It affects your patients. It affects your staff. It affects your family. And so if you're not going to if you can't make a phenomenal living and have plenty of free time and enjoy the life, we're not going to spread this mission forward, because the practitioners who maybe are on the fence and considering it will look at it and say, that's not for me, because I've got a mortgage to pay. And I've had these conversations. I'll speak. I was at a conference earlier this year, and I had a practitioner come up to me. This was a holistic functional medicine conference. And the guy very honestly came up to me and he said, I want to open a practice so bad and do wellness, but I can't because I'm married and I have 3 kids. And I said, well, what does that mean? He said, well, I've got to put food on the table and I don't know how to do the business side, and everybody I look around is not doing well financially. I said, what do you do now for a living? He said, I'm ashamed to say. And I said, well, why? And he said, I work for the pharmaceutical companies. I'm a drug rep. And he said, I hate what I do. I work for Darth Vader. He's like, I work for the enemy. And so, again, how do we give them a roadmap to help them become successful and recruit more doctors over? Well, part of it's going to be making sure that you're more successful. Because when you're successful and they see, okay, not only are you successful financially, not only are you successful in patient outcomes, but you have plenty of free time to enjoy your families, well, now it becomes a lot more attractive. And now we can disrupt the space. So that's really the intention behind it.
My training was in economics, and in order for this to flourish and for the niche to become the mainstream, you have to send signals into the market that this is the place to be. And when I went down to Matt's conference a couple of weeks ago, I just saw these are practitioners that are thriving in practice, and the ripple effects of them empowering their teams and empowering, as a result, all of their patients, and then the ripple effects out there. That's the solution. That's where we need to get to. And so this is what we're going to, really put forward. So 2 weeks tonight on June the 15th, Matt and I, we still have some details to work out on how we can make the program as cheap as possible for everyone. But this is going to be the start of our evolution/revolution, whichever one you look at. And I want to just tell you what you can expect in the rest of this year, because if we pull off what I think we might be able to pull off, I think you could be looking at something very, very interesting and serious. And as I said, this is what I built my whole talk around. When my TED talk comes out, why is it still being edited? You'll see, what I said is it's the community that's the guru of the future, and we're gonna leverage the power of peer-to-peer support for practitioners and for patients and create something remarkable. So I just want to share these dates for you, and if you see what's about to happen, I think I think you're going to get very excited, and I'm so excited I'm going to stand up to do it. So on June 15th, 2 weeks tonight, we have the launch of Freedom Practice University. Get on our email list and look, we are going to create something that is going to allow any practitioner in the country to have the financial starting points to build their own integrative micro practice. The reason why it has to work like this is in 10 to 15 years, there will be integrative medicine and it will be in hospitals. But if you're part of that evolution or that revolution, you will be a paid employee, you will be told what to do, and it won't be a lot of fun, and you won't own any of the wellness revolution. What we're giving here is an opportunity for you to own a part of the wellness revolution by being one of these 100,000 micro practices that serves patients directly, and you can do it however you want. So that's where we're going to be launching that. Then someone asked on the Twitter, how does super coaches help to bring doctors into functional medicine and get everyone on board? Start a meetup. Get Jeff Bland on your screen for genomics and functional medicine. I promise you, you will not be disappointed by this talk. It's already happened. And we have other people on that, like David Brady and Terry Walls and Mark Hyman and Pat Hanaway. We've got an awesome lineup for July and August. And we're going to have a number of meetups here in New York as well. The future of functional medicine is August 3rd. Now we're going to get into some really, really disruptive stuff. The week of September 14th, we'll be back for the Functional Forum at ABC Home. And then we're going to launch the Evolution of Medicine Summit. And I'm just going to give you a little bit. By the end of this year, I'm going to promise you all something. We are going to launch a product that will compete directly with health insurance. This product will be a third to a half of the price of health insurance. This product will pay for functional medicine and health coaching and a little bit further down the road, supplements. This is not health insurance. This is community medicine. This is peer-to-peer support. And through my team working at, and some people that we're working with at the IFM, this is going to happen, and we're probably going to launch it at the Evolution of Medicine Summit. So imagine what would happen if 1 million people, through all the affiliate relationships we have, suddenly had a type of insurance or community support, health sharing, where they could actually go and access the kind of providers that we're looking at. That's the revolution that we're bringing. This has been the Functional Forum, and we'll see you next time.